the brambles as she sailed low over the hedge and into the great wood. Others might have thought it a dream, but not Bess. She had never forgotten the sight of her grandmother silhouetted against the bright full moon, but she was not exactly clear about the details. Just how Gamma and her friends managed to get off the ground, that is. The task seemed easy enough, however, and Bess was a brave, strong girl. So she tried it herself, taking a running leap off Black Rock with Gamma's ash broomstick under her. But all she gained from the experiment was a torn skirt and 2 badly scratched knees. Questioned at home, she confessed to her effort to get off the ground and begged Gamma to tell her how flying was done. But Gamma, alarmed, sternly bade her hold her tongue. "Such unchristian foolishness," she cried. "Put it out of your mind this instant, Bessie. Flying? Why, I never heard such nonsense in all my life." The 2 cronies vanished from the cottage fireside. Bess never again saw Gamma soar over the bramble hedge, and not one more word was spoken on the subject. When the old woman died at last, in Bess's 30th year, the secret of flight died with her. During the next dozen years, Bess, who remained unmarried, was so busy with the work of supporting herself that she had little energy to spare for fanciful dreams of flying. Gamma had left her a dairy cow and some hens, and Bess made a small living from the milk, cream, butter, and eggs she sold in the village. She supplemented this income by peddling the asparagus, broccoli, and cauliflower from her garden, and by harvesting the willows that grew plentifully along the river Stour, weaving the wands into baskets. She also raised bees in neatly thatched wooden hives ranged on the sunny side of the wattle fence across the back garden. Indeed, so bustling and busy and pleasantly earthbound was Bess's life that her childhood ambition lay like a forgotten memory in the bottom of her heart. Until, that is, the day she noticed a loose slate in the hearth and raised it to discover a cavity beneath. From this hiding place she lifted a curious leather-bound book, printed in black letter and unquestionably ancient, its brown pages annotated with spidery handwritten notes. Reading was reserved for the candlelit hour before bedtime, which Bess always spent with the newspaper supplied by her friend Sarah Pratt, cook at Bishop's Keep, several miles down the lane. Now, having discovered the book, Bess was so curious that she could scarcely wait until evening to read it. Unfortunately, however, the black-letter text and spidery annotations could not be deciphered by the light of her candle, so on the following day Bess purchased a paraffin lamp, an acquisition she had deliberately postponed. She had an inborn distrust of modern inventions, such as the post office telegraph, which clattered so loudly that one could scarce make oneself heard, or Lord Marsden's new horseless carriage, which he drove with such reckless abandon. But the lamp proved quite useful, and Bess sat down in its circle of light to decipher the ancient text. To her disappointment, though, the mysterious book turned out to be nothing more than a collection of ancient recipes. She was about to cast it aside when she turned a page and found a receipt for flying ointment. Her eyes widened, and tilting the book to the light, she read the recipe with a swelling excitement. Some of the ingredients, honey, goose grease, thyme, basil, chicory, were familiar staples of her larder and garden. Soot, whatever could be the purpose of that ingredient, could be had from her chimney, while plover's eggs, pig's blood, and some of the less familiar plants, water hemlock for instance, would have to be specially procured. Breathlessly, Bess put down the book and considered. The ointment sounded perfectly odious, to be sure, but what did that matter if it got her over the bramble hedge and into the air like Gamma Gurton? The biggest problem, of course, was gathering the more unusual ingredients without arousing anyone's suspicion, and it was not just the fear of ridicule that caused Bess to proceed with caution. The last witch burned to death in England had been set afire near this very village, scarcely 10 years before Queen Victoria took the throne. Bess had no intention of giving her neighbours the slightest excuse for honing their tongues on her doings. Whatever she did, she would do in secret. So it was that Bess was out and about with her basket on this late summer night, just as the full moon began to rise over Dedham Vale. Following the recipe's instructions, she had scraped from her chimney the pinch of soot, gathered the required number of